There's a better way to a better day. We call it the Betterment Project. The journey of betterment begins with practical solutions to improve your quality of life. The future is bright when you decide to take small steps in the right direction. We will never reach perfection, but we can always obtain betterment.
Hey everyone, this is Lakin, and I'm here again with my friend Anne, and today we are going to be talking about self-care. Self-care is a vital, important part of our lives and our well-being, and we're going to just talk about different things that we do to implement self-care into our lives. So I'll start off. So, first and foremost, I think resting is a huge part of self-care. We got to take the time to rest, to not have any plans, just to clear your mind of a constant to-do mindset. It's vital to our well-being. I feel like I am just constantly on the go, or my mind is reeling with things. So taking the time out to actually sit and rest and relax, and just have that time to reboot.
And how much time do you spend, do you devote to resting?
Well, I used to devote none. And then I would come to a complete burnout and just have a meltdown.
And you're forced to rest.
I was forced to rest. So I realized that resting is essential. So I try to have one full day of rest a week. Where I do not do anything. I don't make any type of plans. I just relax, which that could include just taking a hot shower, snuggling up to a good show or podcast, something that doesn't require thought and self-reflection is relaxing to me.
Yeah.
So.
You read a lot too, don't you?
Yeah, I do a lot of reading, and that's also self-care for me.
Would you consider that something you do when you're quote-unquote resting? Is that a restful thing to you or not?
No, I think that's separate from the resting.
Okay.
So, for me, the reading is a form of self-care in different ways. I read, God's Word, and I also read a lot of self-help books, but it gives me hope for every day, the things that I read. And the Word is filled with hope. It's filled with correction, guidance. I just read things that help me to be able to live a prosperous, good life.
So you would say that's probably more of a spiritual aspect of self-care.
Yeah, for me, it's more spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So, how much time do you devote to resting? You say you take a whole day. What does that day look like?
That day looks like just doing nothing. I mean, I'll eat. I relax. I do something that doesn't require thinking.
Right.
That doesn't require, I gotta do this, gotta do that. Whether it's just watching a show or taking a nap, a hot shower, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
But another form of self-care, I think, is relationships.
What do you mean?
So, cultivating relationships in my life with people who are not draining.
Right, people who fill you up instead of empty you.
Yeah, so I feel like there's people in your life who just take from you, and you never get anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to cut those types of people out of my life. It's not that, I can't be there for somebody who's having a bad time.
Right.
But it has to be a give and take type of thing. So not only am I giving to that person, but when the time comes and I need it reciprocated, they can give it to me as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know, like, Facebook is a place where I tend to gravitate to when I'm trying to, quote unquote, rest and not be using so much of my brain. Like, it's just sort of a mindless thing that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And, but a lot of times, some of my friends on there just post negative thing after negative thing after negative thing. And that's not a positive way for me to check out or rest my brain.
Right.
So I've actually muted some of those friendships or unfriended some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just to clean my feet up a little bit.
Right, because that negativity affects you as a person.
Right.
Reading it, seeing it, hearing it, whatever form it comes in, it has an effect on you whether you realize it or not. Sometimes it's just gradually.
Right.
And for me on Facebook, a lot of times I don't have to unfriend people that are negative. They just kind of leave on their own. They unfriend me because my Facebook is a platform for me to post about my spirituality, my relationship with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place where I constantly put out hope,
Mm-hmm.
into the world because that's what I want to put into the world.
Well, that's what you would like to see in your news feed, so you're putting it out there so it can be in others' news feeds. And sometimes when you put stuff out there, it brings that back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good that you do that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why my Facebook feed is all about pictures of my cats and, positive things that I think are funny or uplifting.
Stuff with your family,
Right.
stuff with that you're doing that's fun to you.
Yeah, or uplifting quotes or just happy things.
Right.
Because I feel like there needs to be more of that on Facebook and social media in general.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because, we're just people who are constantly online. Everything is online right now. We're just our eyes are filled with all this social media stuff. So we have to be mindful about what we're looking at, what we're reading, what we're watching. Because all those things I feel like can affect us.
Yeah, they all seep into our psyche.
Yeah.
They sort of bleed into who we are becoming.
Right.
And that's why I know a lot of people will take a break from social media because, they find themselves sort of climb down a wormhole into Facebook or Instagram or whatever. They just scroll, and then 2 hours have gone by.
Mm-hmm.
And then, their whole life is just flashing before their eyes because they're on social media too much.
Yeah, definitely.
So people, oftentimes, I might see a post from time to time saying, all right, I'm taking a break from Facebook. I'll see you guys in a month.
That's self-care.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's self-care for sure.
I think it's smart.
Yeah, it is smart to take breaks from that from time to time, definitely.
Yeah.
Another thing that I do for self-care is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So my meditation is very spiritual based. And I know there's other types of meditation, and I'll let you speak on that after. But for me personally, I do meditation at night right before I go to bed. And it's just to calm my mind down, to help me to relax.
Recenter yourself.
Yes, recenter myself. And so I play a lot of spiritual. Go back and forth between two things. One of them is just like a guided meditation that is only speaking God's word.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already listened to it all the way through, so I know that it aligns with my beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So I never dive into meditations where I don't know what the ending is and I fall asleep to it, just for peace of mind for me, because it's important when I meditate for it to align with what I believe. So I'll either listen to just scriptures that are replaying with some soft music in the background, just promises and hope of God's word, and I'll fall asleep to that. And another thing that's kind of different is I actually listen to the shofar.
Oh, the shofar.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard about the shofar was
It's like an instrument, right?
Yeah, it's a ram's horn.
Okay.
And it was used in Israel for a bunch of different things. They would sound the shofar for sounds of warfare, sounds of victory. There were different types of ways that they would blow it.
Like different songs, kind of?
It's kind of like I can show you if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear an example of that.
Yeah, so I play the 2 hours nonstop, powerful shofar heavenly call of victory. So when I fall asleep, when I hear this shofar blowing, I am thinking of victory. Like I'm going to have victory in my life. Victorious things are coming in my life. So
that's nice.
Here's a little sample of it.
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
I can see how you could really fall asleep good to that.
Yeah, and I mean, you can turn it down low so it's not like a loud,
right?
You know.
But it's like a peaceful sound.
Yeah, it's peaceful, and it helps me to
but also knowing that they played that for victory.
Yeah.
That's a really positive.
So as I'm laying there listening to it, I'm constantly thinking of the victory I'm going to have in my life over situations and things, and it gives me peace.
Right. Things that you're struggling with. And
yeah. Helps you, because I don't know about you, but when it comes to bedtime, my mind wants to go a million miles a minute.
Definitely.
So I feel like meditation at night is vital for me.
Yeah, I can't go to sleep without listening to something meditative. I just can't. My mind just squirrel cages on some negativity, just doesn't stop.
Right. We got to train ourselves, set ourselves, and I think meditating helps to do that. What kind of meditation do you do?
A lot of guided meditations, different ones, like they're different themed meditations. Like some are just for straight relaxation. They might be talking about you're walking on the beach and you're feeling the sun baking your skin, and you're hearing the sound of the waves lapping on the shore and the sound of the seagulls flying by or whatever.
And so you're just laying there picturing that in your mind's eye as they're speaking that.
Right, and it gives you a focus to
right.
take your mind off of the stuff that you're just fretting over.
Right.
But then they have different ones, like I was saying, there are different themes. Like that would be for relaxation. You might have one for financial mindset. You might have one for healthy relationships, or just different themes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
Positive
good.
affirmations.
Yeah,
That's
positive affirmation ones.
Yeah, I've done those before too. Like you go to bed and it's speaking positive things about your identity, who you are,
And what you want out of life.
what you want out of life, different things like that.
It's a much better thing to fall asleep thinking about than oftentimes the things that you're thinking about.
What you did 10 years ago.
Right.
What happened in high school that one time. It's
Right.
like,
Things
who
that
cares?
have no bearing on your life whatsoever, but for some reason you can't stop fixating on them at 3 a.m.
Yeah. So I think meditation is very good for that. And I think that, if we don't take the time out to meditate, we lose that self-awareness too. Because I think meditating is being, more self-aware.
It sort of also makes me think of mindfulness. Like meditation and mindfulness sort of go together.
I think, when I think of mindfulness, I just think of being mindful of my thoughts and the way I'm thinking.
Right.
I think of doing things on purpose.
I also think about like being in the now.
Right.
I feel like most of the times we're either reflecting on the past or projecting into the future, but living in the now seems to be such a difficult thing for some reason.
Right.
I feel like that's a big mindfulness thing.
Right. That's very true. We can't control what happened yesterday and we can't control what happens tomorrow, but we can live where we're at right now.
Exactly.
And be okay with that.
Right. Even if it's a hard situation, there's so many things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Physical self-care, like about eating healthy, which is something I'm not very good at all. I'll go ahead and admit that. Drinking lots of water. That's something that you sort of don't really think about, but it makes a big difference.
Right. Because I had a huge problem with soda.
Really?
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that.
I would keep literal cases of soda under my bed. I was scared to run out of soda. I hated the taste of water. I used to tell myself, I hate water. I don't like water.
That's not good.
and so I realized all these negative effects that this soda drinking was having on me, and I started telling myself, I like water. Water tastes really good. And just doing little things like that, slowly cutting back the soda.
Do you know that I actually did a meditation to stop drinking soda? And it worked.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, meditation can work for a lot of things. I tend to use, when I want to stop doing something, that's bad for me, I speak it. I speak it out loud.
Like, for example?
Like with the soda, or the water. I said, I like water.
Okay.
I'm a water drinker.
Right.
And I think repeating those things out loud helped me to be able to break that bad habit of drinking soda. So I do drink soda. I'm not saying that I never touch soda again. But now I drink water pretty much all day, every day. And I limit my soda to just when I go out to eat or something like that.
So you don't have any soda in your house?
No, I don't keep it in my house. That's not something that I buy anymore. But I do enjoy it. I don't, completely cut it out of my life. I just make certain times when I enjoy it.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I only drink soda on the weekends. That's sort of my thing, is like during the week when I'm working, I do not drink any soda. I only drink water. But on the weekends, it's kind of a free-for-all with soda.
Yeah, but that's good though.
Yeah,
I mean, it
at
has
least
to
it's
be a
moderation.
yeah, it's got to be a balance. You can't just, be absolutely miserable and never have something that you actually enjoy.
Right.
It's okay to enjoy things every once in a while in moderation.
Right. Well, also, getting proper sleep is like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have a hard time getting good sleep. I have 3 cats, and one of them loves to wake me up at 4 in the morning every morning for some reason. So that's a frustrating situation I've got going on. But aside from that, and there's other things that I can do to help myself sleep better, which, of course, like meditating as I'm falling asleep, that's a major helpful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you have a set bedtime, that's supposed to be really good to help you develop better sleep habits.
Yeah, and cutting off the screen, like what do they say, an hour before bed can help with that too.
That's so hard. I've got to admit.
So hard.
I mean, I sleep with my phone right next to me. It's like, it's ridiculous.
But they say it helps. I use blackout curtains.
That's a really good thing.
Yeah, I have to, in order for me to have like the ultimate sleep, it has to be pitch black.
Yeah, I've seen a study about that.
Yeah.
They were even saying you shouldn't even have like an alarm clock. Like you shouldn't even have any type of light at all in your room.
Right.
Like an alarm clock,
Mm-hmm.
There's light coming from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like even light pouring in from under your door.
Mm-hmm.
All of it supposedly affects how you sleep.
Yeah, I believe it.
Unfortunately, I have not done like you. I don't do the blackout thing.
Oh, I've mastered the cave situation.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. And a fan. Gotta have the fan on. I'm a fan person.
Like the fan for the air or for the sound?
For the sound.
Okay.
I don't point, the fan towards me, but I have to have that sort of like white noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a problem with, I watch TV and I usually fall asleep to the TV. And then I'll wake up at like 1 in the morning and the TV's on. And I'll turn it off and then I'll turn on a meditation.
Yeah.
But what I need to do is say, okay, it's 11 o'clock. I'm turning off the TV. I'm turning on my meditation and I'm going to bed.
Right.
That's what I need to do.
Right. And this is just all practice. We're just practicing self-care.
Yeah.
Because self-care is hard because we're not used to, I think most people are not used to putting themselves first.
That's a good point.
We're not used to putting ourselves first, and the job that I do is, makes me want to think about others first. Mm-hmm. And even aside from my job, just I think my personality type makes me want to put everybody before me.
Right.
And it can destroy you if you're constantly putting people before you and not taking time aside for yourself to care for yourself in different ways.
Yeah.
And, whether it's, self-care for me is trying to obtain betterment and trying to find a balance with that of not just constantly working on myself, but taking the time to rest and say, okay, I did that. It's okay. Now I can rest. Another thing that we had talked about at one point was decluttering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think decluttering also can help, it's self-care because it can lessen the chaos that you have in your life.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Just your environment really does affect you. And if you can create a peaceful environment, that goes a long way for your own peace.
Right. So I created a filing system because I had a huge problem with papers everywhere. My bills everywhere. Important papers I needed, things that I wrote down, passwords that I needed, just a bunch of random stuff. So I created a literal filing system for this paper problem that I had.
Okay, so you're like an organizing.
Yeah, so this goes into organizing. So I, put into different folders. These are my bills. This is for my car stuff. This is for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can just go to those folders and pull out what I need. And I don't have a bunch of trash papers mixed in with important papers that I need.
Right.
And that helps to free up my mind, so my mind's not in constant chaos.
Right, because we got enough stuff rolling around in our brains. We don't need to be trying to track down every little slip of paper.
Right? Yeah, so
that's a good idea. I try to be organized with my papers. Unfortunately, when it comes to me and organization and decluttering, I'm not very good at putting things back. Like, I'm good at creating, like, I'll rearrange a room to motivate myself to declutter the room, because decluttering is not something that I enjoy doing. But I love to rearrange a room, and that leads into decluttering. So then I'll declutter, and as I'm decluttering, then I'm organizing.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem is I don't put things where they're supposed to go,
Like once you're done.
Right.
So you've got everything organized, and then you don't maintain it
Exactly.
until the next time you got to reorganize and declutter it.
Right. Like 2 months later, I'm like, oh man, that room is a disaster again. I got to declutter it again. So I got to rearrange it again so I can motivate myself to do it.
Right. So it's all about maintaining it once you do it. And that's really hard. I do the same thing. I'm the same way. I got to make sure it's about being purposeful.
Yeah.
About putting things back where they belong. And I think that just takes time, just takes practice.
Habits. It's all about habits. Seems like, coming back to last week's podcast.
Yep, definitely.
It seems to me like self-care is a crucial part to handling stress and just about staying healthy in general.
Mm-hmm. And it's committing to betterment, to bettering yourself. Being open to growing and changing and learning is good self-care.
Yeah. So I feel like we gave some pretty good examples of the way we do self-care.
Yeah, and I think, you can tailor that and make it your own. So those were our examples, and we're going to be talking about a new topic hopefully next week, but thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast.